Hello there, I'm Rose, and I still live at home at the age of 27, but I think that's okay. I think I'm looking at this video as sort of a petition for society and movies to stop shaming young people for still living at home. I think, okay, so I'm a millennial, right? I'm 27, I was born in 1994, and I think that there's a tendency for the older generations to kind of look down on millennials because we're maybe not as far in life as they were when they were our age. But I think life has just become a lot more complicated, and I don't think it's really fair to sort of judge us by the same standards of the past. So I guess that in brief is what this video is about. I think I'm just tired of people acting like it's a problem if you're still living at home over the age of, say, 23. I think life is just so nuanced now that it's not fair for people within my age group to have that pressure added on top of everything else. I guess this could be seen as sort of just me offering a whole bunch of excuses for my generation, and I can't speak for everyone and every case, but I think overall I just don't see the point in making it seem like someone's not an eligible suitor or whatever if they still live at home, or that they don't have their life sorted out. It's not like, I don't feel like that's a fair judgment. There are cases of that, I guess, but I just think as a blanket statement you can't just say that because someone lives at home that they're a mess. But yeah, why I believe this? Let's get into that, because I think there are 4 pretty important reasons, and I'm sure that there are other reasons as well that I haven't even considered, but I think it just is important to realize that life is different and that shaming young people isn't gonna help the situation. So basically, the first reason I think young people are living more at home is because of just how expensive things are lately. I think if you think about it, every year there's like inflation of 6% or so, and then think about it, like, are salaries being increased by 6% every year? Probably not. And that's then where the discrepancy comes in, that you're not earning as much, or like your money isn't worth as much as it was a couple of generations ago, and that's crazy. I think the world is also less guaranteed for young people. Like, I think just feeling like, oh, I'm gonna go to university, I'm gonna get a degree, I'm gonna get a job, and everything will work out. Like, I think that's no longer something that is just guaranteed for us. Yeah, I think it's difficult to obviously be guaranteed higher education even. And I mean, that's always been the case, that university is a privilege, even though it shouldn't necessarily be. But I think it's at the point where you have a university degree and you still are not guaranteed a job. Whereas like a couple generations ago, it was pretty much like if you went to university, you could get a job. That siren is crazy. I hope everything's okay. So yeah, I think that just things being more expensive, not being guaranteed a job, those are all like really important aspects to this. And it really is the reality that even if you do get a job, that you might not be able to afford what you could have 20, 30 years ago, you know. My one best friend is working. She has a good job. She has a university degree, which she got cum laude for, and she doesn't earn enough to move out. And like, she's not doing anything wrong according to the, you know, the script that a young person is given. You're supposed to go to university, then you're supposed to get a job, then you're supposed to move out. She's not doing anything wrong on that path, technically, you know, but moving out isn't a possibility yet. And I just hate then that this person who is, you know, following the supposed right path, who is working hard, who is, you know, doing all the right things, is then shamed because she hasn't moved out yet. It just doesn't sit right with me, because that's, you know, just one detail of her life, and it's not necessarily her choice. So yeah, that was a big ramble, which had a few components in it. But yeah, that was like the main first point. The second point is that I think there's just more exploration career-wise now. And I don't think this is a bad thing. But I think there is just so much more out there. It's not just like, be a lawyer, be a teacher, be an engineer, be a doctor. There's so much more to explore. And I think that young people are taking more time to explore that, which I think is a good thing. But that does mean then you maybe start late in life. So it's more common nowadays to have a gap year. It's more common nowadays to maybe figure something out that isn't necessarily with a university degree, or you get a degree in something and you end up in another path. Like, there's so much more flexibility and flux, and I think it's really exciting. But it does mean that people start later in life. This is my situation, that I first studied BA, and it just wasn't what I wanted at the end of the day. And then I studied a BSc in computer science instead. And so instead of finishing uni after 4 years, it took me 8 years. And yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with the path I took, but it meant then that I've only been earning money for a couple months now. And yeah, so me moving out has been delayed because of that. And yeah, I think that that's a positive thing, that there is more exploration like that people are more encouraged nowadays to find their passion. And I think that's really exciting. And so that's not a reason to shame people. Yeah, I, yeah. Okay. Third reason. The third reason is kind of linked. It's with how I think moving out had a lot to do with settling down with someone. And yeah, so out of my three best friends, only one of them is living, only one of them has moved out, and she is married and has a baby. And so I think it is quite telling that out of my friends, the one that has moved out is the one that's married. I think that settling down with a partner has a lot to do with when you move out. And I think the same with exploration of jobs. I think there's a lot more exploration of dating, and yeah, I think people just do settle down later in life, and I think that's okay. There are pros and cons. I think the dating world has become very complicated, and I know that most of my friends wish that they could find someone sooner, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that there is more choice, that there's more, that everyone has more of a say and a voice, and it's not like, oh, you marry the first suitor that pays attention, that you can marry for love, that, you know, I think obviously there are a lot of pros to that situation, but yeah, I think that has a big thing to do with it, that people aren't settling down super young anymore. You're not like, oh, you married by 23, have babies by 25. You know, that's not the reality anymore, and I think that's okay. Again, not a reason to shame people. So let's go on to our last one, which is kind of linked to the first thing about things being so expensive. But I know it's my personal experience, like, because things are so expensive, I could move out now. I technically can pay rent every single month and not live with my aunt, but at the same time, I can be saving that money and use it towards a deposit at some stage to get my own house, to get a bond for a place that then will be my own rather than renting from someone. And yeah, so that's my personal situation, that I could move out, my partner could move out. He stays in like a cottage on his family's property, and he could have his own place, but it just doesn't make sense for either of us when we could be staying at home, contributing towards board or whatever, but not having to pay the same rate for rent, and instead saving that so that one day we can own our own place together. You know, so I think people being more smart about, I'm glad that there is that movement, that it's not this thing like, oh, I have to move out, that there is at least that flexibility, that even though it might be viewed as something kind of shameful to still live at home, that there is more acceptance of it, that I feel like I can without, you know, completely feeling embarrassed about it. So that's really great that it is moving in that direction, that we can stay at home if it's a better financial situation for us and save up until we're ready to move out. But I just think overall it frustrates me so much that with all the hard work that young people put into their careers and their lives, and creating a home. It just frustrates me so much that still the narrative in media is like, oh, still living at home. I can't stand it. We are not living at home and just sitting playing PlayStation or something. We are working hard. Well, I mean, okay, I can't speak for everyone, but my friends, me, the people in my circle, that's not our reality. We're working hard, and just we don't need that on top of everything else. I'm not saying we have it so hard. We have a lot to be grateful for, but I just don't feel like that needs to be something in our lives. Let's just make it normal. Living at home is fun. It's fun. You can be 40 and living at home, and I will not care. You do what you want to do. I mean, yeah, that's the point. Just let people do what they want to do. Why do we have to judge others? Why? Just in general, like beyond this. I don't want the joke in every movie to be like, oh, you still live with your parents. Please, can we move past that? Anyway, I hope that if you are still living at home, this video has put things in perspective for you, that you don't need to feel embarrassed or ashamed by that fact. You are doing amazing. Don't worry about it. And yeah, next time someone tries to tell you differently, just come back to this video. It's a safe space here. Here we can all live at home, and that's perfectly fine. When I move out, you will still be welcome here. There is no expiration date on how long you can stay with your parents. Yeah. Anyway, I could just ramble and ramble and ramble. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.